Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettimodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, how about that? Good morning, world. Somehow we're streaming, everything's working, man. This is the always stress when I hit that button to go live. But here we are. Here we are. Footage right there. That was Hurricane Beryl this year, by the way. A lot of new folks watching us. That was the hurricane in Texas that was only a Cat 1. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Oh my God, it's so chaotic here where I live in Pinellas County. It's like a ghost town in some spots. We got chaos. Girls are gone. They left me, the dogs. It's very weird feeling. I'm kind of very weird, actually, waking up to... First time I think I woke up without the dogs or the kids or the wife. So kind of quiet, eerie. I'm feeling all the emotions that you all are feeling too. This is all I got. No Louie, no Hunter today, but longtime followers, MWP, know all about this dog. This is the days that the dogs are in the vet, so I always whip out this guy. This was Emily's first toy, and Rusty took the nose off. Everybody's got one of these laying around, right? Probably if I throw some stuff in the truck, this might be what I take. You got to make tough decisions. Shared a story yesterday. I got to share it again if you didn't follow. But we told the girls to grab something in case we lost everything. And Emily grabbed our ashes from Rusty, our Labrador. Thought that was interesting. And Sarah grabbed a picture of all of us at Krabby Joe's or Eat at Joe's in Daytona. But that's what meant everything to her, was a picture. And it just melt our hearts to think that, you know, her having Down syndrome, obviously, and that picture meant everything to her. So pretty cool to see what you see through your kids' eyes sometimes. What might be important to us, is not important to them, right? So, all right, so we're going to talk about this storm. I am Mike here. I'm coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida, Tampa Bay area. Been blogging since 16, website since 2004. Not a meteorologist, according to many, not a very trustworthy source. But I appreciate you watching. I'm going to go over all the latest and greatest. Always refer back to National Hurricane Center and National Weather Service and your local EOC. So there's three-letter words: EOC, NWS, NHC. Those are your three main sources right now, as we are about a day away. Okay? They have the most up-to-date information. All right. So again, thanks to all the new followers. I'm going to break down everything. I do not read comments. There's a bazillion of them. Not being rude. I'm going to give everything in a whole where we're at and go from there. Remember, hurricanes, large systems, okay? They don't pinpoint locations. It's not a random storm. A hurricane affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Some are going to have impacts, some are not. Those that have impacts are going to be devastation. Those that don't are going to be mad. It's the nature of the beast, okay? We do all this hype. Sometimes a storm will shift. Sometimes it'll fizzle a little. People get mad then. But think about that. Think about that. Is it worth getting mad if you don't get what others get? I know, it's tough. I've been there too. But here's what we got. So 3 links on my site. I really want to show everybody. 3 arrows. Boom, boom, boom. I know I show them every time. But we have a lot of new people watching. Florida FDEM storm info. You click on that, and there you go. Hurricane Milton updates. You got a million links here. Most important is county emergency management sites. Every one of these is one of your counties. Any questions you might have on evacuation zones, anything, click on this, and you will get unbelievable information. Click on Pinellas. There are your Pinellas.gov emergency information. Look at all this information for my county of Pinellas. Shelter locations, transportation services, okay? Everything you need is right there. All accessed off of this FDEM site. The second link I linked was National Hurricane Center local offices, National Weather Service local offices, Tallahassee, Key West, Charleston, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, Melbourne. You click on them, and they have local statements for their area, Tampa Bay. Threats and impact map. You click on this. It'll give you a good idea of basic areas to watch. These are worst case scenarios, but that area in purple, winds up to 110. Red, hurricane up to 110. Okay, that's why we have a hurricane warning through the state of Florida. Orange, 58 to 73. These are your current winds. So you click on this, you get storm surge. Storm surge obviously increasing now for the dirty side. I just got off a radio show in Daytona Beach. We're talking a lot about the dirty side. When the storm exits the state, you're going to have effects like Ian and Nicole with a lot of surf coming in and a lot of storms coming in and a lot of rain coming in. So there's your surge map potential from center northward on the dirty side there. So that's that. You can take a look at that. The other thing is this link here, how to plan and prepare. That's the third link here. I linked right here, that little arrow, plan and prepare, National Weather Service. Anything you want to know about hurricanes, information is here. So hopefully they're good links. Both of these sites, hurricane preparedness, all kinds of stuff there too. So there you go. That's what we got. All right. This is a camera, Weather Stem. So the folks at Weather Stem, Ed and Will, if you're watching, thank you. They gave me exclusive access to their statewide camera system, so we'll have access to their camera system to show. This is Veterans Park in Oldsmar. This was underwater just a couple weeks ago. This is looking the other 180 from that video I shared yesterday of all the debris for street after street after street after street after street after street. Lined up debris here in Oldsmar from folks that got flooded from Helene. So unfortunately, we'll see this probably underwater, but I'll be sharing a lot of these images as we get closer. Here's what it looks like. Still powerful 145 hurricane. Went through an eye wall replacement, which is natural. It's kind of good and bad in a way. Usually it's good in a way because it'll reduce a strong hurricane a little weaker. Well, it took a 180 mile an hour hurricane and made it 145. So, I mean, do we use the word weaken? I hate the word weaken. Weaken. So let's eliminate that word from our adjective list. Because it sends a false sense of, oh, it's nothing. So unfortunately, with an eye wall replacement, it grows in size and sometimes comes back strong, sometimes stronger. So we'll be watching this today. Another look at it here, just showing you the size. We measured it last night. We'll measure it before the end. Shelly texted me so I don't forget. But last night it was 250 to 350 miles wide. It's a big system, and it's going to get bigger. It's got that classic pulling in outflow here from the north, that moisture feeding it. It is a monster. So there you go. All right, there's going to be a little weakening. Yes, there we go again. A little weakening. But is it enough to matter? That's the bottom line. Big system. Don't focus on tiny little shifts. There are models suggesting it could be eye wall shifting a little bit back south Tampa Bay again. We've been bouncing around. Manatee, Sarasota, Tampa Bay, Pasco. You know, we've been doing this wiggle. We've been doing this wobble. The cone is getting tighter. Landfall affects primarily who gets the worst surge. Could shift 5 miles from here to there. And it also affects those big winds. Takes away the worst here, but it moves them here. So, you know, I know people wish it does this and wish it does that. But, you know, for what I do, wishing it to not hit Tampa is selfish because now it's going to hit somebody to the south. You got to think about that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of population where this is going. West Central Florida. West Central Florida has not had a direct hit since 1921 like this. So in our lifetimes, nobody has seen what this is going to do in our area. We've been skirted. We had Irma, 17, tons of damage in our area. It was right up through Polk County, Lakeland. It was a Cat 1. Tons of damage. So think about that. This is going to be a possible 3 making landfall in the area. And a lot of y'all remember my Ian footage. All right, so Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach area was the big surge. I was in the Inglewood area. That's, 40, 50, 60, 70 miles away? And we had those extreme winds where I was at with Phil. So we can't think that it's only going to be on that center line. It's not. You know, sometimes the north and eye wall has the big winds. I mean, it's a wide system. So you can't worry about your specific location when we're talking about a large system. Like I said, some are going to get, some aren't. But it's there. WeatherNerds.org here shows you something that's pretty interesting, is the lightning. The lightning inside the storm is incredible still. I got an email from a hurricane hunter last night, actually. Might get some pictures today, but tons of lightning going on. And that's not good. Water vapor, I wanted to show you this. Water vapor is what's helping fuel this thing. We look for dry air in times like this to try to weaken the system. It did a weird little scoot to the south to miss this upper level wind shear. Originally, we thought it was going to hit this wind shear maybe and keep it weak, but it's not. This here is our old CAG system that we were watching. It's actually highlighted by the National Hurricane Center now. But that's actually allowing this moisture to reach back into our system here and help fuel our system. Obviously, 897 pressure yesterday. One of the strongest hurricanes on record yesterday. 5th strongest hurricane ever yesterday with an 897 pressure. So there you go. That's why it's not going to weaken anytime soon. There's a lot of moisture is what I'm getting at. And this wind shear is too far to the north to really affect it. So these classic Florida hurricanes need a front to the north to help supply the juice. All right, here's a look at the wind map here, just kind of showing you all these winds getting pulled in and a little bit of influence here from that system that's now off the Florida coast. This is what brought all the rain the last several days. This is what's juiced up the state. But some of this moisture is actually now making its way there. Here's the microwave imagery. This zooms in on the core structure of the storm. So you hear about this eye wall replacement. So watch this. Teeny little eye yesterday, like a 4-mile wide eye. There's an outer eye wall that forms around it, and it actually collapses as a little one, and the big guy takes over. And you can see that happen yesterday. Now we have an eye wall double the size, maybe more than double the size. And that might do it again. But that's classic eye wall replacement. And when it does an eye wall replacement, it gets weaker, sometimes temporarily. Sometimes. All right. And then another thing nobody's talked about that I've seen is this. This is your loop eddy. So whatever shear we get might be offset by that right here. That is a loop eddy. That is extremely warm water in the Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't have that right now. How does it get so strong? But when it gets over this loop eddy, that's extra warm water. And that is ocean heat content. That is usually what systems need to do what it did yesterday. So it hasn't even reached that yet. This is extra hot water below the surface. And we'll see what it does. But it'll be feeding off of this warm patch of water. It's been proven that these loop eddies and loop currents help fuel systems. So lots of unknowns still yet to come on how strong this might get before it weakens. Can we find another word for weaken? Do me a thesaurus on weaken. I'm proud of my neighbors, though. They're all boarding up. I haven't yet. I might not. Running out of time. Anyway, all right, here's the latest track. 8 o'clock advisory came out. This is not a new cone, so we have a new cone coming out at 11 p.m. They only do new cones at 5 and 11, 5 and 11, 5 and 11, 5 and 11. 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they do new advisories this year, which is pretty cool. So now we got hurricane warnings on the whole state. Knew it was coming. Everybody in red under hurricane warning now. Hurricane warnings extend outside the cone, to the north, to the south. The hatched area, everybody always asks me, what's the hatched area? Hatched area is you are currently under a tropical storm warning, but you're also under a tropical hurricane watch. So you're under a hurricane watch along with a current tropical storm warning. And with going back to that north side, dirty side thing, think about this. We have this little area here that's not even warning yet, right? Well, that's because the dirty side is going to come wrapping around here and bring action to the coastal areas of Florida on its exit. North side, dirty side on Florida exits. That would be going from west to east. If it came through the state, it'd be the opposite. South side, dirty side. But this is a north side, dirty side. So anybody in the Jacksonville area, north of Cocoa, you can make a shirt. Say, we live in the north side, dirty side. A1A. But anyway, strong hurricane expected again. Forecast points here. Let's show you that. I didn't have it up yet. Let's go to zoom.earth. Let me show you the miles per hour. I got a lot of other links. So we're going to talk about all the official information here now, and then we're going to go into the latest tracks and maybe where the eye wall is going. This is a great site, zoom.earth. You can see the points here. So it's expected to reach 160 today. So it's expected to strengthen again. It is expected to get a little smaller, 155 tonight. Then the uncertainty starts to come in. How much does it weaken from here to here to here? That's going to be the question mark. Officially, it's expected to be 125 Thursday, 2 a.m. And you might say, oh, Tampa's spared. Well, it might be from the big surge. The big surge. You're still going to get surge. if this is the track. But the winds, unfortunately, don't care about that center line, and we're going to have strong winds circling a large area, and that's going to end up going through the state. Man, Shelly is over there in Merritt Island. Here, I mean, we're we're both dealing with. She's over here, I'm over here. But anyway, there's your path, and a lot of folks will be getting strong storms overnight Wednesday and Thursday. And these squall lines are going to start tonight, Tuesday. And apparently the line is over Shelly's house. So we'll see. We'll see if the track changes a little bit at 11. I can't see him going much more either way. There's a few hurricane models north of Tampa. So, again, we don't get too worried about these little track changes because, in the scheme of things, it might bring a little less effects to some and a little bit more to others. And that's unfortunate. So you don't really know these wiggles and wobbles. It's so close. But, going back to what we've talked about for years, the cone is anywhere that the eye could go. So we can't stress that enough. I know Ian was a little more stressed about that because there was a lot of models showing a curve for Ian. The majority of models are averaging, in this area right here. It's a little different setup. There's a little more certainty on the overall track, but we still have to remember that the cone is anywhere the eye could go. So remember that. If you're in this area, anybody in this cone, equally need to pay attention. 100%. We've seen, we saw it with Florence. Florence rode the eastern edge of that cone for New Orleans. Helene rode east of the cone, in the cone, but east of obviously Tallahassee didn't get the effects that they thought because the storm went a little bit more off to the east. So this is not exact. What else I got open up here? Here, we already did that one. We didn't do this one yet. All right, so this is storm surge. Number one, high impacts. We're seeing surge now on the East Coast, 2 to 4, Sebastian to Volusia, 3 to 5, all the way up to Georgia, 2 to 4 into South Carolina. So surge going to be an issue on the Florida East Coast now with 3 to 5 foot into the St. Johns River even. 30 side. Still seeing 10 to 15 though. Again, Anclote down to Inglewood, 10 to 15. Our area has not seen this in our lifetime. We saw a tease of this for Helene, but some folks are going to see double, if not triple, what they got during Helene. Think about that. 15 foot. 15 foot. I saw houses in Keaton Beach and Steenhatchee that had, this much surge, and you just can't imagine what that looks like. And then you add waves on top of that. So it's just the waves push in. That's why, wherever the storm goes, it's going to be a big storm. And it's going to be pushing a lot of water on its way in. That's why we might see surge typically a little more to the north than we normally see, because it's going to be a big system. Cat 4, Cat 5 system pushing a lot of water. Katrina weakened to a 3 before landfall and it had 28-foot surge. It was only a Cat 3 at landfall, but it was a 4 big storm pushing water. Ike was the same way in Texas. It weakened to a 2, but it still had 20-foot surge. So it's going to already be pushing that water if it weakens a little bit. But the big surge always happens south of center. So let's say that is a landfall. The counterclockwise flow here is going to bring the big stuff south of center. And that's what gets the winds and the waves. Those are your strong feeder bands. That's coming in off of the Gulf. That gets added to the surge. So that's the most impactful. The waves on the surge is what's really bad. Surge comes up, but then you add these waves 5, 10, 15-foot waves on top of 10 foot already. That's what drives water in deep. That's what pushes it inland. It's that push of water from the waves and the wind that pushes deep inland and into the rivers and Manatee River and who knows what it's going to do. But that's why we have official information like this, so you know worst case scenarios. Other things here, we got the Sierra map. So the Sierra, darn it, it was down earlier this morning too. I think they're getting, probably millions of people are looking at it. So no luck there. The Sierra map is showing a little bit more on the thinking that south side's more. So there is encouragement for Pinellas County, for example, northward, Pasco, northward. If this does turn a little bit, then a little less wind or a little bit less shear, maybe. But man, don't change plans because of that. Just know there's hopeful for you, but then again, less for those in Manatee and Sarasota, because that would mean more that way. So it's so tricky. It's so tricky. Tricky. South Pinellas could get 10-foot surge, but North Pinellas might get very little because they're on that edge of winds now kind of coming around and not pushing that water in. So hard to predict who gets what, but it's coming for somebody. That's the problem. This storm will produce 10 to 15-foot surge plus waves. It's just who gets that. And we're still going to get a push of water in regardless from the nature of a storm. You got to think about it. You got big old, if you're in the pool or the bathtub and take your hand and just do that, all this water just starts pushing, and it's just on its way. I shared the European wave swath map, and it's showing 60 foot. That's not surge. That's just seas. I think you split that in half or something. There's some formula, but there's going to be a lot of Gulf action just offshore pushing that water. This surprised me this morning. All right, we've been showing about isolated rainfall totals and double-digit rains. We didn't have a lot of red on the map last night, but I showed the GFS and Euro, and they were showing 20 to 30 isolated spots to watch. This came up quite a bit. 12 to 16 inches here across a large part of the I-4 corridor northward. But that's unbelievable rain, okay? That is flooding rain, inland flooding, on top of winds. Flooding ends up being the story nobody talks about because it's, I don't know, not exciting or something, but Ian, tons of flooding from Ian on the East Coast because Ian exited as a tropical storm, but brought in all this rain. So look at these rain numbers, man. And this is only an area. There's going to be people with more than this, and you don't know who that is going to be. Just remember Debbie, Largo, Sarasota, Bradenton. Remember Live Oak and Lake City flooded. Downtown's flooded. So isolated rain training is going to happen for somebody. There's a lot of moisture in the air. This is all going to be coming in. So that led to this. A rare hey, by the way, I got my dog shirt on today. Look at that. So the dogs are here in spirit. The Hurricane Watchdog. There's Louie and Hunter for you, by the way. They're there. Hey, guys, if you're watching. This led to a rare high St. John's River. Yeah, we can look at that, Shelly. Phil says Fox News wants me to do an interview right after. Man, I get so many news hits now, man. So today I'm on CNN. I'm on Fox 6 times in the next 3 days. I might be on the Laura Ingraham show tomorrow night. Aaron Burnett tonight. Hopefully I got a voice left. All right, well, what makes this rare? Well, first off, they don't issue these high weather or flooding maps very often. So it's very rare to see pink. I know we're getting wrapped up in winds. We're getting wrapped up in surge and who's going to get these big winds. But sometimes the bigger story is flooding. Okay, we don't have to remind anybody of that in Tennessee and North Carolina, right? We have to watch for this. Man, our grounds are so saturated right now. Like, I can't even, it hurts me to walk in my grass because I leave divots. Our grass is completely saturated, and we're going to get possibly 12 to 15 to 20 inches more. And you know what? Take a tree. Go out there and wiggle a tree. Guess what? They go right over. These root systems are weak. Put your hand in pudding and move it around. Put your hand in concrete and move it around, right? So that's a big concern always with trees going down, which leads to power outages, block roadways. Things I've learned in Cat 3, 4 hurricanes. Number one, don't drive, please. I've seen firsthand worst possible things you could see. I called Emily that night and said, "Please, Emily, don't drive out there in the rain. Don't drive. Don't hydroplane. Don't run in flooded waters." If it's at night, listen, here's the problem. At night, you cannot see trees on the road. And there's going to be trees everywhere. There's going to be trees down everywhere, okay? You can't see these unless you got a bazillion lights on your vehicle. You'll run up on a tree and you won't even know it, and you'll, hit it. You can't see flooded roadways at night. You can't see power lines down at night. There's going to be power poles everywhere. There's going to be power lines everywhere. I've seen it. I know it. Pool cages are going to be gone. Fences are going to be gone. So it's gonna be bad, and all this debris that's piled up is gonna float, and then whenever the water goes out, it's just gonna fall down. So all this debris on the roads is gonna get picked up by surge, and this is not just my area. We got the same look down in Bradenton, Manatee, Sarasota, southward. All this surge is gonna pick this stuff up. It's gonna float around. And it's going to flop down. And who knows if it's going to be flying in the air. I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know. I know people, stuff flies in the air. There's going to be a lot of debris on the roads. All right, so that's a concern right there. Trust me, this is a concern. High flood risk is a concern. To the point that I'm probably going to move my car out of where I got it parked because I'm worried it might take on water. Here's the timing. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see tropical storm force winds here. Keys maybe overnight tonight. This is a timing map of when you might start seeing this. Is because the feeder bands are going to be rotating strong line. I've seen some estimated radars where we got massive feeder bands lining up that are going to be coming into this thing. Feeder bands come in. That's what brings in the tornado warnings. There's going to be a lot of that. I didn't have this graphic up yet today. Tornado warnings are always very frequent in these storms. Here's today, which is mainly tonight, but we can start seeing tornadoes as early as this evening and tonight as our storms start rotating in. This is tonight, Tuesday. Then tomorrow, big time, as our storm rotates in spiraling feeder bands. So anybody in the green and definitely in the yellow will probably be under a tornado watch tomorrow, both sides of the state. And now it does extend northward into, it didn't go any farther north, Thought we'd have more into Georgia, South Carolina. We didn't. But we have this into Thursday. This is obviously Thursday morning when our storm passes, more chances. Well, actually, it's going to be coming from that way. Excuse me. So when our storm passes Thursday, wherever it's at, we're going to start seeing daytime heating come in and bring storm chances now from the west. We don't have anything in the north. I'm surprised. Maybe just wind. Maybe, well, not tornado threat because we got a frontal line in play, so the atmosphere is going to be stable. There'll be heavy rain and surge, but no tornado. Excuse me. All right. So that's that. Here is possible winds. Now, I hate this graphic because it does it in timestamps. Basically, it just plots the data on every 3 hours or 6 hours. I don't even know. But so it's not going to skip over Bartow in Plant City and land in Lakeland. It just got to connect the dots here. But we are going to see, look for this color. right here. So here, these two are. So brown and pink. That's all you need to know. 80 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts, way inland on this track. Now it's all track dependent, obviously, but these are wind gusts stretching up to Ocala, Daytona Beach, down to Naples, 40, 60, 40 mile an hour. So, a lot of folks here could possibly see, power outages just based on 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts, 50 mile an hour wind gusts. So we zoom into Tampa. Oh boy. Tampa. Oh boy, right? Brown is 80 to 90 mile an hour wind gusts. This pink area is 110, 20, 135 mile an hour wind gusts. Again, this is deceiving. This is a timestamp right here. So basically, this pink would extend from here to here. So you kind of got to figure these winds are going to continue this direction. There's not a hole right here. So anything in that white area is 100 mile an hour wind gust. And this is from the National Weather Service. I'm not making this up. This is what they're predicting. Okay. If this thing goes north, the winds go with it. This thing goes south, the winds go with it. But you can see some serious wind gusts along the coast. And this will extend southward even greater. This map only zooms into Tampa, unfortunately, but you get the idea. All right, let's look at the latest tracks. Here we go. 12Z, this came out, and we zoom in. This is on Tropical Tidbits. So there you go. That's tight. It's extremely tight. There's some argument that the hurricane models might be more accurate. They were during Helene. They are a little to the north, I'm going to show you, but it doesn't matter at this point. These are very tightly clustered. There's no outliers. There's no going to Tallahassee. There's no going to Naples. Okay, this is about as tight a cluster. And these read steering currents. These read high pressures and low pressures. Simple as that. There's a high pressure to the south. There's a high pressure to the north. There's a big squeeze coming in. It's accelerating because of these high pressure winds, and it's going out of here. Bermuda, it should be weak by the time it gets to you and dissipated. So Bermuda, just some rains. Not too concerned about it yet. I looked at it last night. We'll look at it again here in a little bit. But there's your track. If you want to clump them together, I don't know. I mean, the NHC line is the black line, and it looks like it could be on a few miles lower than the consensus. But again, it's too close for comfort for anybody to do this. You know what I'm saying? I got caught up in the east-west thing with Helene, and I just got to stop because these little track adjustments in the scheme of things don't matter for what I do. Specific impacts, yes. But somebody's impacts, regardless, is coming. Intensity models, they're all pretty consistent here with this weakening some. What worries me is this 48-hour marker somewhere around here, 36-hour marker. We still have some in the Cat 5 range. Or we don't actually, Cat 4 range. So, but this is what I meant, Cat 4. Because it's only predicted to be a 3 at landfall. So this Cat 4, a couple of them really stay in Cat 4. How long does it stay to Cat 4 before landfall? That's the question mark. 24 hours from now, 36 hours from now means so much. And 36 hours from now, we still got, 4 or 5 saying we could still be a Cat 4. Doesn't mean anything, I know, but it does mean something. Strong Cat 4 hurricane is Cat 3 hurricane, Cat 2 hurricane, Cat 1 hurricane. Tampa Bay's never seen a direct hit like this since 1921. Simple as that. All right. Spaghetti models here on weathernerds.org. These are your ensemble plots. So GFS is consistent with one thing. Weaker goes south. Probably not going to happen. That's why we have to look realistically at history. Beryl did the same thing. Beryl had bunch of tracks going this way as a weak system, stronger ones going this way. Well, if the system's stronger, that's more color, which means stronger system. So basically GFS saying, all right, well, the average between the weak and the strong are right here, but the stronger system's going to more than likely pull north. Such a weird system. This is the natural Coriolis effect of hurricanes. That's why we have systems that come down here and do that. Right? Hurricanes that we're used to seeing do that and usually turn this time of year. This time of year, because of fronts. They all do that. So what we're seeing here is a track that's kind of doing that in a different way. But anyway, that's a GFS. European ensembles kind of split. Problem with the European and the GFS to me is their initializing is wacky. Like last night, we're going to look at it here in a second, but the GFS and Euro initiated at like 980 pressure, and our system is at 910. So it's got to change their track thinking if their intensity is off by 70, 80 millibars. Stronger systems are going to do a little something different. So anyway, the Euro's been really low on intensity. Or low meaning not high. You know what I mean. But anyway, there you go. That tight cluster regardless. All right, so let's look at all the latest 6Z hurricane-specific runs. So we're going to see this size expansion. It went through that eye wall replacement. It's not a teeny little Charlie anymore. It's actually growing in size, which could be worse. This is a deal where weakening is almost worse because it's going to weaken still to a Category 3, but it's going to be a wider system, meaning more surge, more inland effects. That was what happened with perception with Ian. Was Charlie little storm. Ian was a big storm. A lot more people are affected from a bigger storm. And the eye wall's wider, bringing those winds wider. Now, we're going to measure this, but it's kind of irrelevant right now because the system's going to get bigger. All right, so here's the HWRF 924. It's expecting it to intensify throughout the day today, down to 917, 18, 15, going over that loop current. This is Cuba way down here, 919 overnight. So we got to trust the models that it's going to raise pressure. But look at that wind field expand. Incredible, right? Here's your wind field now. Green is 34 to 40 knots. This is 10-meter winds. Almost right. You can almost jump and touch them. That's why Pinellas County had more damage in Dunedin and Palm Harbor and Clearwater than some of the areas, because the higher up you go in our area, you get more winds. That's why Irma did a lot of damage in the middle part of the state, because just that little bit of elevation puts you a little bit closer to those bigger winds. That's why big trees went down in Tallahassee. Tall pine trees are seeing that wind that we ain't seeing on the ground. But anyway, watch the overall size of this thing just increase. This is your hurricane force winds, tropical storm force winds. That is a massive wind field. Red is bad. Purple is really bad. Barney bad. Let's see where it goes. HWRF. This is north of Tampa. This is Thursday morning. I'm only showing these. Well, I am showing you these. There's no purpose of showing you these except they're good models. It's just showing you how these did exceptionally well with Helene on that east jog, and they're doing a little bit more than the cluster of spaghetti models. So I just don't want anybody in Tampa to let their guards down thinking, oh, this thing's not going to hit us. It's going to hit you one way or another. Latest HWRF, it does weaken it, but does it enough to really matter? 953. That's Cat 3 range. Really low Cat 3 range. And it's going to be pushing a lot of water. It's going to go through the state at 959. That's unheard of. Okay? The effects inland are going to be one of the biggest stories. We all focus on landfall, surge, rightfully so. The inland winds are going to be. We have mountains in Florida, right? Ocala, Gainesville. Those are our mountains. But again, raised elevation, winds increase. But 959, if that happens, that's Cat 2 hurricane winds through the middle part of the state. Kevin Guthrie was on our show yesterday. He was saying they're thinking Cat 2 winds possible in the Orlando area, meaning that part of the land, if it goes south or north, but you know what I'm saying, Cat 2 winds inland. And then when it exits, here we go. Look what happens, 966. Oh boy, now we started getting this. These storms here are brewing, and they're going to rotate in now. Here's that frontal line that's bringing in winds to begin with. But here's that north side, dirty side. Bam! Bam! Big winds coming in from the east. Again, impact number 2 that won't be talked about enough, that's going to be a shocker, is going to be that. Northeast Florida. And I've been on it for days. We pick up on things, but that could be a big story for the East Coast, is the backside exit of Milton for you. Surge, winds, and storms. Mainly winds, surf. And then he gets on out of here. It really falls apart before Bermuda. All right, let's look at the other models. These are fresh. 6Z, 12Z will be coming out next. HMON, 957, 962, right into Tampa Bay. So same effects. We're not going to go over all that again. Halves A, 946, 946.51. That's terrible right there. That's for me. I'm selfishly thinking about me right now. 951, but that's bad for everybody right here. Everybody in the purple, that's bad. That's halves A. Again, they're trending a little bit north. That's what I'm, just a little worried about this doing what it did with Helene. And look at 925 on halves B, 938, 947, 950. So, man, I'm just not convinced of this thing tracking any more south when we got 4 hurricane models a little bit north. I mean, I trust these models. We haven't done this in a little bit. Now that we've got data, let's go to Tang Guidance. It's called Brian Tang. Crazy good website. All right, let's talk about trends first off. Consensus models have been this. You cannot get a tighter cluster than that. These are the last 6 runs of the TVCN line, which is your consensus of all models. If anything, we've seen a little tick to the north. The first run was the light blue, and you can see it's been kind of, the consensus models has been inching to the north. Usually the National Hurricane Center reacts to these consensus models. They quote the TVCN model a lot. Blue is the most frequent consensus model. The National Hurricane Center track history. This is a great website. Is this. You could tell it was south, then north, and now it's in the dark blue. Kind of the same as the consensus line. That's the track history from the National Hurricane Center. Very tight cluster. But I want to show this. I haven't looked at this. This is your intensity performance. Knots. Okay. So these are models that predicted the intensity the most, first off. Okay. This is an amazing website, Brian Tang. I think he follows me on X, but this is awesome, Brian Tang. So what it does, it takes 72 hours ago. What did that model predict 72 hours ago? Did it verify? It ranks them now. Was it correct? So 72 hours ago, this model predicted this. What is it today? Did that model predict it correctly? It's kind of like a 3-day, hey, I think the Bucks are going to win. Then 3 days from now, if they win, they're like, yeah, you nailed it 3 days ago. But here's your HWRF. It's always an amazing model. HWRF, number 1. Halves B, number 2. So you trust at least some of those hurricane models. Look at this. I don't even look at these guys. Who are these guys? I don't even know half of them. Doesn't matter. we trust the halves. Look at this. 24 hours ago. Halves B, number 1. HWRF, number 2. This is your absolute error. So at this point, we're trusting the halves B and the HWRF. Okay? Halves B and HWRF are your number. HWRF has been my favorite model for years. HWRF. So those are your 2 for track. intensity, not track, intensity. Now, we also have that tool for track. Who's been the best on track prediction? Right here. So, who was the best 72 hours ago? CTCX. I don't even know what the hell that is. I got to do my homework. What the hell is a CTCX model? Let me see. I think it's a consensus model. It's an experimental Navy model. It's a hurricane forecast model output, experimental Navy model. Interesting. But look at the all right, so Navy. Remember the old Navy model? Everybody says don't ever use a Navy model. Look, look at this, the Navy model, the old Navy model, the worst. So don't ever use the Navy model. Track guidance, halves A and B were the worst 72 hours ago. Canadian was pretty accurate. I was seeing if anybody stood out more than others. Euro, nobody really. UK was not doing good. UK is not doing good on the storm. We saw that earlier together. AVNO is GFS based. It's been the best short term. So I didn't really learn enough about this one to go into anything really, except what not to follow. Official's actually been off the most. That's not good. Here's the official. The official right here is black. Well, you get the idea. Man, it's way off. That's interesting. So we did learn something. The official guidance was off a little bit. If this is accurate, I don't know. But still, others are doing a little bit better. H-Wharf actually has been a little better than official. So here's interesting. So here's official. Here's the H-Wharf in purple. Official, H-Wharf, official, H-Wharf. Interesting. Here's official, H-Mon, H-Mon, H-Mon. It's like a video game. So if we say the H-Wharf and H-Mon and the Euro's been good too. The Euro's been a little better too. So those three models. So let's look at H-Mon and Wharf and Euro for track, because that's been three good models so far. So we go to Euro, look at the latest Milton forecast, and it is smack dab in the middle of Tampa Bay. Don't look at intensity. This is what frustrates the heck out of me. Euro is initializing at, where are we? What hour is it? 6 hours. How does it do that? That's 00Z, but still, it's initializing at 995. That's ridiculous. It's not supposed to be 977 though here, and it's like 910. So we don't use the Euro for intensity. And here's everybody that's on that Windy app. The Windy app defaults to the Euro. So the Euro's wrong. And you're going to see that Windy app and you're going to think, wait a minute. What the heck's Mike talking about? The Euro app is the Windy default. So the Wind is not correct on that, unfortunately. I wish the Windy app had halves and HMON. But anyway, the Euro track has been pretty on point, and it's saying Tampa Bay. The H-Wharf has been pretty on tack with track, and it's north of Tampa Bay. And the H-Mon has been on track, and it's Tampa Bay. So, I wanted to say not a wish. I was inclined to say we might see a tick south. But going with the best performing models so far with this storm, we might see a tick north. So that's what I'm saying. Don't let your guards down. Don't get your pom-poms out. I hope you understand. I understand now. I love doing these daily brews because it teaches me. I learned from Mike. We see things on this little thing we do. We all learn together. And then Shelly gets a hurricane. Hurricanes for everybody on the MWP crew. All right. Well, that's about it for me. I'm going to be live tonight sometime. What time tonight? My God, Shelly said we're good for everything, so I got to think. So I'm going to be on Aaron Burnett at 7. Fox has me on. But probably 9. Let's shoot for 9 o'clock. Oh, measure the storm width. Okay. And look at St. John's River. Okay. Tonight, 3:30. Okay, so I'll be on Fox at 1:30 and 3:30. All right, so probably 9 o'clock tonight. 9 o'clock tonight. 9 p.m. tonight. All right, we're going to measure the storm. This is on Weather Nerds. I did not mean to click AL12. All right, so we're going to measure Milton. Little tidbit for you. Milton replaced Michael 6 years ago as a new name. Michael hit on October 10th. Milton might hit October 10th. The irony. That is not what I wanted. What the hell am I doing? Losing my mind. All right, measure. 350. 280. I mean, if you go here to here, that's kind of cheating. That's 614. 350. I'd say 300 to be safe. At least 300 miles wide. How about that? At least 300 miles wide. Everybody's always asking. Don't read into the size yet because it's going to get bigger. And then the St. John's River. Let's look at the outlook on that. I don't know. Hopefully this map's... Yeah, it should. We have another map here, but let me just pull this one up. Man, look at all these purple. This is not good. Purple's bad. Purple is flood stages expected to come, not current. So look at this. 6 rivers are expected to be in major flood stage. St. John's is not one of them. Yet. So, good news for now, right? But I'd watch that. We get surge in here. Sometimes these numbers catch up. But so far, nothing's showing. St. John's at Astor is showing possible 420. So yeah, I guess it is. I forgot St. John's goes farther south. Could be nearing major stage. So yeah, it's starting to show up. I'm sorry, I was thinking more. But this is a great map. So as the waters start to accumulate, remember our river goes way into Florida here, so we are getting a couple of them showing up. But I was surprised to see this, a lot of purple over here, so be a good map to share. I got a lot of stuff to share. Man, I got so much to do, man. Time gets lost, man, in these damn hurricanes. I'm sorry, but 9 p.m. All right, that's it for me. I got a lot of stuff to do today. So again, a lot of new followers. Thank you so much. Been doing this a long time, 20 years now. It's not my first rodeo. But we really appreciate you getting a little information, and hopefully it helps your planning and keeping you safe, knowing what you can expect. You know, me being a father, a daughter that drives, you know, it's very important to get where you're going now and be off those roads, be in a safe place, you know. Don't make last minute decisions when it's too late. You know, when you get told to evacuate, we've seen, I think Mother Nature's weird way of warning us of what's to come was Helene, right? I mean, it's sad that everybody got flooded, but it's nothing like what we might see for some folks from this storm. So I think the urgency is a little more thanks to Helene in a weird way, right? So there you go. Covered a lot. We'll be live tonight at 9. Okay. That's it. My dad used to say Fort Pitt. Not sure where that came from.